Rolling me, I sold my soul and stole the gold from royalty. I'm locked and loaded till the motor overheats. I'll rock the boat and seas I'm not supposed to be. The Holy Ghost is in my broken bones, and heaven only knows what being poked awoke in me. The homes of those who tried to slow my roll and throw me to the wolves will turn out burnt and smoldering. I'm filling the coffins with everything that I wanted, and then I'll drag them behind me so they will not be forgotten. I hit the bottle so often that when I did hit the bottom, it didn't hurt even a bit, but now I proceed with caution. And I've been haunted by rotten bodies. The path that I plotted been full of haters and demons. I burned a bridge when I crossed it. I got $1 in my pocket that I'm saving just in case I get to where I'm headed and I still need change.
Hey, what's up, y'all? Happy Saturday evening. So, I'm sure everybody saw what I've had to put out there and what I've had to deal with the last couple of days with this stupid Orbeez challenge. The first thing I did was put out a TikTok video, okay, because that's where this thing is supposedly coming from. So, I put out a video on there. And I don't understand why this has come from, why they've allowed this to be up there, because, I mean, I don't put a lot of stuff out there. I'm not that familiar with the platform. I know it's the big thing and, you know, whatever. But I put it out there because that's where this whole challenge came from. And, you know, here's my issue with it, okay? And we've gotten to the bottom of a lot of what transpired. You know, I've talked either personally or indirectly with the parties involved. And here's my stance on it, okay? If you want to go out and get your friends and you go out in a, you know, wherever. I mean, out here where we live, we got open areas everywhere. You want to go out there, get your buddies, get geared up, put on your goggles or whatever, and go out there and have these little fights with these things. That's one thing. Here's where the issue comes in. When you're just going around and you're shooting unsuspecting people at night, I mean, you don't know what you're doing. And it's going to end up going bad. And this is, so I put out the video, right, on TikTok, and then I put out a podcast on it. But on the video on TikTok, I get a reply from this guy named @JackMcLeanGang. What is this shit with putting gang at the back of your, what gang is your name after there? Jack McLean? If that's even your name, I doubt it. And by the way, Jack McLean Gang, I'm following you. You haven't followed me back. You haven't replied to any of my commentary. But as I said, if you'd like, you know, so this Jack McLean leaves a comment on my video, right? So, you know, my kid gets shot with these things 3 different times on his way home, walking. They roll up on him and just start blasting him. Okay, these things leave welts. Some of these kids are putting them in freezers, so they're ice pellets. They get up here by my house, they turn off the lights and do a gangland style fucking drive-by with these things and fucking tater the vehicles in the yard. They hit my son again, and then they hit my house and the windows on the back of that, on the front of the house. I don't like that at all. And so, you know, so this @JackMcLeanGang, whatever the fuck his stupid little punk ass name is, he decides to reply to that, coming by your house with WIT, the Orbeez, and then something, Orbeez is so much fun. And I look this guy up, and he's got videos of him. He's like riding his bicycle into a pond. He looks like some frat boy from down south. I wouldn't doubt it if he wears visors and probably, who knows what. He probably eats Tide Pods too. So I responded to him, and I'll respond again. Hey, @JackMcLeanGang, bring your gang, whatever gang this is, okay? Y'all come on over. And like I said in the comments on the TikTok video, I'll put out some juice boxes and some fruit roll-ups and some Kleenex for you guys. You know? And then we'll have a little powwow, we'll have a little sit down, and we'll do a little educational talk. Because here's my point of view on the whole thing, okay? You guys want to do this with each other, that's fine. Go find yourself a place. It's just like getting involved in like paintball gun, you know, the paintball wars or whatever. There's places for people to do this. They're set up. You got, you know, the courses. You can get your teams out there. You can do the same thing with this. I don't care. I don't got a problem with it. Whatever. What I do have a problem with is you punks out there that want to just roll up on somebody and shoot these things at them when they're not suspecting it, when they don't know what's going on. You know, this has happened here in this little community a number of times now. This is the second time my son's been assaulted with these things. And so whoever's out there with that blue FJ Cruiser in town, you're next. You're next. And I know where you're at, and we're going to have a little discussion. And I'm not coming at anybody with any kind of a threat or anything like that. You need to be aware of what you're doing. I'm hearing that and I'm seeing this all over the country. These kids are spray painting these things black so they look like a real firearm. Now you think about what happens here, idiots. You're out there, and this has happened. This happened the other day at a high school. These two morons were out there. One of them was aimed at another guy. Somebody, a community member is driving by, looks over and sees what appears to be a firearm pointed at another student. She calls 911. They evacuate the school. Kids are traumatized, get sent home. They had the school locked down. This is stupid. You guys are dumb, and you're not gangster, and you're not tough, and you're not anything but a bunch of shitheads. I mean, from what I've seen this happening everywhere from the hood to the suburbs to high schools, junior highs. I saw a little 5-year-old kid riding his bike, gets tatered. He's got blood all over his face. He's got welts all over his side. Do you think that's funny? At Jack McLean gang? Is that funny to shoot kids with these things when they don't even know it's coming? Is it funny to shoot mothers that have their baby in a stroller when they're going up to their house? Have you seen those videos? At Jack McLean gang. Now, you might have been trying to be funny, but guess what? You're not being funny. Because not only was my son attacked, but, my home was too, and my personal property. Do you think that's funny? At Jack McLean. How'd you like me to take your bicycle and throw it in the lake that you rode off the end? Or your little video where you've got the fake wig dreadlocks on and you're singing some rap song. Moron. You must be from fucking Pennsylvania or goddamn, I'd guess you're from fucking Alabama or, I don't know. Maybe fucking, who knows, Arkansas? You might be from Arkansas. That might be. I don't know. I can't tell where you're from. I don't give a shit. All I know is you're just an internet tough guy, phone tough, fucking moron. So bring your gang up. I'll have the fruit snacks or whatever you guys want. I'll get you a little yo place, maybe some Go-Gurts. How about some Go-Gurts there at Jack McLean gang? But what you did there at Jack McLean gang was you gave somebody a threat. You gave somebody a threat, and you don't know who you're talking to, dude. You don't know who you're talking to. You don't know what you're getting yourself into. You don't know what kind of fucking checks your bud is writing that you will never fucking cash. And you ain't going to show up here, because I know, what are you going to write up here in your fucking Prius with your gang? Who are you going to have? Fucking Milhouse Van Houten and what, Bart Simpson with you? What frat are you in there at Jack McLean gang? Auto Eta Pi, Delta Delta Snatch? Which fraternity are you in? I'm guessing you're in Auto Eta Pi. That's my guess. Could be wrong. Nice bicycle too, though. That's awesome. You really rode that into that pond well. That was just, all the tricks you threw. Just ride that thing right off. That's a great video, dude. That was awesome. Now I'm following you. Why don't you follow me? We can have a conversation, stupid. I don't give a shit. You want to go out there with your little butt buddies and shoot each other with these things? Hey, more power to you, pal. I'd say you're over 18 because hey, I checked you out there, fella. I saw you in a bar, so I'm assuming you're 21. So you're definitely you're a real moron now, because now you're a legal adult. And so now you're messing with me. And guess what? When you're not a minor child, then hey, guess what? At Jack McLean gang, all bets are off, homie. Which ain't my homie. But maybe you ought to think about what you're saying. And maybe everybody out there ought to think about what it is that's going on here with this thing, because this isn't a joke. What's going to happen is, over this being some kind of a stupid deal that, that some stupid fad, in some small community like this place here, Cody, Wyoming, one of these dumbass kids is going to go outside. I'm hearing that they're wrapping these stupid things. They're spray painting them black and wrapping them with either red or blue bandanas. Kids in Cody, Wyoming. They don't have any idea what those bandanas would represent, do they? They just think because they saw some jackass on a TikTok video do it that it's hilarious. And kids are stupid. I understand that. At that age, you're dumb. But here's the deal, parents, okay? I've been in contact with, administration at schools. I've obviously spoken with law enforcement because I don't have any repercussion on something like this when you're talking about minor kids that are doing it. I was pissed off enough that I was just about ready to get in the truck and I had to calm it down, and I didn't. But we've come to a resolution. I don't want to see these kids get in any kind of legal trouble either. And I don't want to see anybody end up dead. I mean, you think about this, okay? At Jack McLean Gang, like I said, you want to go out there and find yourself a place where no one's around and you and your little friends can do this, that's fine. But when the challenge is to go and shoot somebody gangland style, I've watched these videos where these idiots are driving by groups of people, and these things, they sound like gunfire from a distance, okay? I used to live in a neighborhood where it was nightly gunfire. I got used to it, but that's what this sounds like. And in a community like this, you got everybody packing. This is a very gun-friendly state. And people, open carry all the time. People got concealed permits. People in Wyoming, they're not messing around. And if you shoot one of these at the wrong dudes, and, he turns and sees you firing one of these things, and it's painted black and he doesn't know what it is, you're going to get shot. It's either going to be a private citizen that does it, or somebody's going to call the police because they see you guys out there running around with these stupid things and they think that it's an actual active shooter situation. And then you end up with a SWAT situation. And you've got these officers that are they're showing up on a scene, and their concern is for everybody else. And they see you out there being a dumbass, shooting these water pellets at each other with a thing that looks like a fucking gun. How many black men have been shot for having a phone? And you think that you're just going to be able to do this? You are dumb. And parents, you got to get on the ball here. If you see these things with your kids, quit buying them. It's a free country, but these things are not a toy. They're calling them a toy. This is not a toy. It's not a toy gun. This is an instrument that's going to cause a lot of problems, and it already has. There's been a ton of arrests. It's been an issue in Dearborn, Michigan. It's been an issue down south of Florida, Georgia. It's obviously an issue here now because I saw this incident is now in the, came out in the paper or whatever. And it's not funny, This isn't like just going up and like de-pantsing your friend in the fucking hallway. I mean, that's embarrassing and not a nice thing to do either, but it's not like that. This is something that's going to cause somebody some harm, and that's my issue and my contention with it. And so while I'm not happy with the individuals that did this the other night, I'm also not threatening them. I don't wish any of these kids to actually have legal troubles. They don't want that at this age. I think there should be some consequences for the actions, and I think that we need to, actually sit down and explain to these children what it is that they're doing, because this is beyond me sitting here and getting angry about it. Okay, this is about a potential tragedy that could happen. I watched a video where they shot a guy that was driving an Amazon delivery vehicle, and the guy fortunately was wearing glasses because it hit him in the eye and in the neck. He's driving a big ass delivery truck. What happens? If he didn't have the glasses on and that thing hits him in the eye. I mean, you never know how somebody's going to react to a situation like that. Are they going to slam on the brakes and get rear-ended? Are they going to swerve off the road and run over a pedestrian, slam into a car, roll a car over on somebody on the sidewalk? I mean, look at the things that could happen with this. And then you got at Jack McLean Gang on Tik Tok sounding off on me, somebody he's never even known, telling me he's coming to my house with, W-I-T, with the Orbeez or Orbeez or whatever the fuck. And then talking about how fun they are. Hey, at Jack McLean Gang, how much fun do you think it's been for me the last couple of days? Trust me, this was the last thing I ever expected to have to deal with in the last 2 days. And that's been pretty much all that I've been dealing with because you idiots are out there doing this. I've had to deal with parents, school administration, law enforcement, all people that I really don't care to get involved with. I mean, really, in my day-to-day, there's those three groups really, I don't care to be involved with it. I don't want to be talking to random parents. I don't want to be, unless it's like some, parents that want to, get together and talk about what we're going to do about getting this shit to stop. And it's been going on for some time. And You know, I didn't hear about the previous time that it happened. I don't know why my son didn't tell me. He didn't tell me about it. But he said he had welts all up and down his side, and he didn't bring it up. You know, and any of y'all out there that have kids that age, you know, I mean, you know that at that age, you know, I try and, you know, I don't try and be too awfully intrusive. If I know something's going on, I handle it just like with this. You know, it's gonna get handled. We're gonna take care of this. And I hope this gets out there, and I hope that the people of this community see this. If you want to speak with me about it, my phone number is readily available. My email is readily available. It's at the mic'd files at Gmail, or not at the mic'd files. That's my TikTok. It's the mic'd files, THEMICDFILES at gmail.com. And I think we need to have a community discussion about this, because with tourist season coming up, you're going to have all sorts of unsuspecting people going up and down the streets in this little tourist town. And if these kids are running around willy-nilly, especially high school kids, they're playing with these things in their cars and they're shooting random people and taking videos of it. I don't want to see any high school kid, you know, end up going to prison on a manslaughter charge because they shot somebody in the eye through an open window and they veered off the road and hit a bunch of pedestrians that are walking down the street. It's avoidable, and it's stupid to let this go on. So I'm addressing it. I'm bringing it up. I don't care. I'll speak with anybody about this at this point in time, because it just needs to stop. And it's not about me being upset or angry. I'm not too happy with old Jack McLean gang. And what's up with putting gang at the end of your shit? What is that? Is that your friends? You're definitely no gangster. You're just some dumbass riding a bicycle into a pond. I don't know what's this gang? What are you guys gonna do? Smoke your vape pens and blow them at me? Gonna get all hopped up on some Jello shots or some? Oh, I'll bet you guys drink those White Claw things, don't you? Oh, I got you pegged there. I'm sure you do. I'll bet you like the what kind of flavors they got. I don't even know. I'll bet you're on them. Or seltzer water, the hard seltzers. You guys get a couple hard seltzers in you and go ride your bikes into a pond, and then sound off on somebody that you don't know, whose child was just assaulted, whose home was assaulted by these things, and think that you're funny? You're not funny at Jack McLean gang. And I'm calling you out. You might want to change your name or something. I doubt that's even your name. Your name's probably probably got a name like Chad or Todd. Probably wear a visor. Yeah. How many visors you got in your closet there, buddy? You got a few, don't you? Idiot. You know, parents don't take too kindly to that. You know, especially when this happens on Thursday night. And these kids, I mean, they're rolling down the street with their lights off. I mean, that poses a threat to anybody coming at them. And then they're firing these things off. And there's a poor kid in there that was just getting a ride and didn't have nothing to do with it. And he got a ticket too. And I feel bad for him. And he did the right thing. He got my number. He texted me, told me that he was sorry, that he wanted this to stop. And he ended up, and I told him, I said, look here, man, I said, guilt by association. You know, I said, that's why you got to think about who you're hanging out with, who you're running with. Because you never know, man. Life can change in an instant just for putting yourself in that situation, you know. I mean, if you want to talk to somebody who's been there, done that, I'm your guy. Trust me. Anybody that knows me knows my whole story and what I went through, you know, over something stupid. Wasn't my responsibility? Of course it was. I trusted somebody I shouldn't have. I put myself in a bad position. I did. I made all kinds of mistakes leading up to that. And I took responsibility of it, did my time. I mean, you know, and I'm going to face the repercussions of that for my entire life. I am a violent federal felon, although I never brandished a firearm on anybody, threatened anybody with a firearm, or did anything violent. I've had to do that because let's face it, I worked as a fucking bouncer. You know, I mean, worked as sometimes you get in a situation where you've got to use violence to either defend yourself or others. I've had to do that over and over. I mean, in most of the altercations I've got in, over time have either been, it's usually because of some dude, taking off on somebody smaller and weaker or assaulting a female. I don't go out there and try and just pick fights. But this is just stupid. And then to have ass clowns like at Jack McLean Gang, and I'm sorry, Jack or whatever your name is, I'm going to keep sounding off on you because what you did was really ignorant and it was really fucking stupid. And it shows your character. You want to go out and shoot your little frat boys in the ass and do the elephant walk or whatever it is you guys do. I don't care. Do whatever it is you guys do in your frat houses. And I know how that goes. I know how they are because, trust me, I've had to go in and drag females out of those places that have been roofied and being sexually assaulted. That was one of the biggest brawls and melees that I ever got in my life. Luckily, I had some good buddies because I think there was only 4 of us, and we got her out of there. And those idiots decided to rush us, but they were coming out that front door, and not rush us like the fraternity rush, but they tried to come out the door, but there was too many of them, and the door was too narrow, and so we were just picking them off one by one, bam, just socking them up, heads through windows, everything else. And it was pretty funny because the guy who was actually behind it, he got it the worst. And I got to see him a couple days later. I had an English class that was off campus, and so we're in a car, we're driving up there, and he walks across the crosswalk in front of us, and he looks, you get socked up, and the whites of your eyes turn blood red. He was both two black eyes, his nose had a bandage, he had puffed up fat lip with stitches in it, and he was the one that was holding my friend when she called frantically asking me to come get her, that she'd had her clothes taken from her and that she was in the basement of this frat house, and this guy wouldn't let her go, and he heard her on the phone. He got on the phone and threatened me. He said, "Who is this?" I said, "This is Mike File." And I said, "I'm coming to get my friend." And I said, "You better have her upstairs and ready to go." And we went down the hall. We borrowed a girl up the hall. She had a van, and we jumped in that thing and drove it right up on their yard. And she comes up with no clothes on and just like a sheet around her, And I told her earlier that night, she was a friend of mine, I told her, I said, "Be careful if you're going over there to that party at that house," And sure enough, thankfully she called me. It was late too. It was 2 a.m, something like that. So I know what your frat boys are made of. And I know this is something that goes on all the time. Because trust me, that wasn't the only time I've ever had to deal with this. That's happened a number of times. I don't need to get into the other stories because they're all very similar. That's why I can't stand fraternities or frat boys. And I think I honestly think that's the same as being in a gang. If you got to be in a gang to have friends and to be tough because you got safety in numbers, then you're a pussy. Sorry to say that. At Jack McLean Gang. What's your gang sign? I hesitate to even think about that. What do you do? Lick your thumbs and stick them up each other's asses? Think about what you're doing. And parents, people in this community, I'm sorry for the vulgarity, but that's how I talk. They're just syllables. They're just words. I don't know why we put a stigma on language, but we do. And this is concerning to me. This whole thing is concerning to me. And I really, at the bottom of it, I'm worried that this is going to lead to something tragic happening that could have been prevented. So that's where I'm coming from. That's my angle. I'm not angry at any of these kids participating in this because I know how it is to be that age and to you do things that you don't necessarily think about, but you got to also understand that those things can have lasting effects on your life, on other people's lives, and they can lead you down to, you're in high school, you're ready to go to college, and you decide you're going to participate in this or be in a vehicle or somebody does this, somebody gets killed, and then all of a sudden, guess what? You're not going to college. Not at least at a university. You're going to, you might be taking some community college classes in prison, but you just changed the trajectory of your entire life. And you changed the trajectory of somebody else's life and their families, and you affect your family. So everything is a cause and effect. And when it's something as silly and stupid as this, then, I'm at fault too, because I didn't know anything about this whole thing. I had not a clue till the other night. I hear Orbeez challenge. I'm like, what? I type it in. I'm like, how do you even spell that? I type it in the computer, and sure enough, there it comes up. It's a TikTok challenge. And TikTok, you're responsible too. Why would you allow something out there like that? I get shut down. I've been shut down twice now on YouTube. Once for relaying a personal experience of mine. The second time for citing a medical study from an accredited university. So I got shut down for a week the first time, 2 weeks the second time. Okay. The first experience that I relayed, I said, in no way am I advising anybody to do this. I said, but this was my experience and this is what happened. This was the outcome. Now, okay, boom, get a strike. I'm off for a week. Next time I say, this is an interesting study that I just found. It's from an accredited university. It's from the medical students and everybody in the medical department at this university that did this study. I explained the study, explained what it was. I put it up. Everything was up on the screen so everybody could see it. You could see where it was coming from. I told you where to find it. All it was a study. And I was thrown off for 2 weeks for medical misinformation. And then 2 days later, there's other individuals out there that have a much larger viewership than I do. They come out with the same thing, and their stuff stays up there. So me, a little guy just getting started in this thing, gets shut down for speaking truth. I mean, speaking of personal experience, I don't think is any reason to get shut down, especially when I explain that this is my experience and I'm not advising anybody to do what I've done, you know? And then the second one, just saying, hey, this is that's what a podcast is about, right? I mean, you talk, I speak about current events a lot. And I examine things that are going on. So when I find a medical study that shows something that's like, wow, this is kind of interesting, and I do my homework, figure out where it came from, and I think, okay, this is okay to show this because this is from an accredited university. You've got doctors, medical students, and a medical department at a big university that has put this paper out. Now, how come I can't share that? I've never gotten an apology from anybody at YouTube. I've never gotten an apology from it, none of it. They took my content down, and then kicked me off for 2 weeks. So that's kind of a hit when you're trying to put something that's like this together and putting your time and effort into it, But then this crap like this that's going on that's really putting people at harm. This is putting people in harm's way big time. These things, they're not just, no big deal. I mean, especially if these kids are freezing these things. So it's something we got to talk about. And as a community, first of all, okay, nationally, obviously, parents in other communities need to talk to your kids. If your kids have these things, I would get them out of their hands because it's going to be a heat wave coming down on these things. Trust me. Anybody that's caught with them, kids put them in a backpack. Well, did my camera just go away? I guess we'll have to change up here. What did I do? Not plug my battery in? Who knows? Good grief. This fucking camera, man. All right, let's go down this route. There we go. Hey, we're back. Anyway. All right, but, like I said, I got no animosity or hate towards anybody with this happening so far. I just think we need to get out in front of it and we need to take care of it. And we need to make sure this doesn't go on anymore. It needs to stop. So parents out there, you want to talk to me, you know where to get at me. And kids, anybody involved, I'm not mad at you, okay? I'm not happy with you. I understand that decisions are made that are bad. We also have to understand that in order to succeed in life, we have to make mistakes. And so the way I look at it is, these youngsters, they've made a mistake. Fortunately, nobody was hurt. Except maybe some egos and some pride, but that shit can all be repaired, regardless of what you think, And maybe that should happen a little bit more often because it might help you with your decision-making process in the future. But that's the way I look at it. Mistakes have been made. Let's fix them. That's all we got to do. I mean, no anger, no hate, no animosity on my part. I'm not happy with whoever this Jack McLean gang is. He appears to be an adult, at least over 21 or over. I mean, because one of his videos, he's in a bar. So I have a little bit of a different disposition on him, especially since he sounded off on the video that I put out there and tried to make it sound like that was a fucking funny joke, because it's not a funny joke. At Jack McLean gang. So with him, he's in a different situation. I don't even know this fool. But he did get me fired up, much more so than this other incident, because this cat, he looks like one of these idiots that just wants to go out there and do these. He's got one where he's feeding trick-or-treaters, and another one with his wig. He's got a fake wig, and he's like, I don't know what he's doing. I couldn't even watch it. It was so bad. But, he's got a bunch of little sorority girls following him as well. Thinks he's somebody. He's a fool. He's very foolish. Because of attitudes like that, this is going to lead to something bad happening. And I don't think he's even thought of it. I would doubt it. He probably doesn't think of much. I mean, I just judge him by the video content. On that note, I guess maybe I should go out and get on my bicycle and go ride it into a pond. That'd be funny, right? He's got way more views than I do, that's for sure. So a guy riding a bike into a pond gets more views than a guy that's just trying to speak the truth and put things out there that I feel like people should be thinking about. So I don't know. Yeah, go get my bicycle out. I'll go ride a wheelbarrow into, I don't know, eat some Tide Pods and roll off the end of the dock. I don't know. Would that give me more views? Would that give me more than 3.2 views if I ate some Tide Pods and rode a wheelbarrow into a sewage pond or something? I'm sure it would. It seems to be all it takes. That's what kind of idiot climate that we live in right now. If somebody were to do that, and there's, I mean, if I was to go do that, I'd probably have 100,000 views. Look at this guy. He just ate a Tide Pod, jumped in a wheelbarrow, and rolled off into a sewage dump. But don't cite a medical study, and don't talk about your personal experiences. Don't do that. Because that is... Anyway. If I were you at Jack McLean gang, I'd either... maybe get on there and say, damn, dude, I didn't ever think of it like that, and I was wrong, and I'm sorry. That's about your only, that's about the only, I don't know. I mean, everybody can be forgiven, but first you have to accept responsibility for your actions. So I would suggest to you that maybe you accept responsibility for this, because the shit you said, dude, I'm not happy about that. And it's probably a good thing you live wherever the hell it is you live. And if you're coming to my house, like I said, you want to come to my house, I'll shoot you the address. You bring your gang. I'll have Kleenex, juice boxes, fruit snacks, fruit roll-ups, Go-Gurts, whatever you guys want. We can sit down and have mac and cheese cups afterwards and have a little talk. Or you can realize that what you did was, you said some pretty stupid shit to the wrong person. And until you either respond to me or apologize, then I'm gonna keep throwing you out there, dude. I'm gonna keep throwing you under the bus. I'm gonna keep hammering down on you. And if if you show up at my house and you're an adult and you threaten my person or my property with your little Orbeez guns, it's just, it's game on at that point, dude. It's game on. And you find out, exactly what it is that you've gotten yourself into. So go ahead. All right. Let's keep yelling out there. Good grief. All right. I'm going to sign off because hey, can we be quiet? Hey, I'm on the air. Good grief. All right. On that note, I'm out. Got to go stop this nonsense.